I'm terrified of spiders, and there's some big ones in here. Welcome back, everyone. We're back for... Nope. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day on the property out here. We got a busy day lined up. I've already had a busy day. I'm starting a little bit later again, but that's all right. So at this phase of the project, we have a lot of planning to do inside. We still have to finalize our layout for the kitchen, the bathroom, all that. I want to make sure everything's roughed in properly before we proceed. So it's kind of convenient that we're going to be focused outside for pretty much the entire week. We have Erik coming back this Friday, and that's shortcoming. So I got a few things to get ready for him, and that's pretty much where we're going to be focused. So for everybody who's new to the channel, we're the family who bought a hoarded house. And we've removed the hoard, and now we're in the phase of cleaning up the outside and fixing things up and getting it ready to become a home. So if that's what you're interested in, feel free to join us for the rest of the journey. And for those of you who've been along, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It goes a long way to help the channel grow. We have been growing incredibly fast, and we want to see it continue. Because if this keeps taking off, I mean, we're gonna keep it going as long as the channel stays alive. So with that being said, let's have a look around and see what we're up against. So as you can see, the car is still here. So part of my goal, when he gets back, I don't have the exact property line, but you'll notice I got some orange flags out here. So that's actually in from the property line, just to be safe. We don't want to encroach too much, especially when it's completely unnecessary. So I've got these flags going all the way down. And the idea is to open up this side as much as possible over here. If I get it opened up well enough, I can get a tow truck right back there to pick that up. We have no utilities, no underground work to worry about, and the ground's really firm. So I don't mind sending a truck back there. So up here, we want to clear straight ahead of us as much as possible. Pretty much to at least this big tree. That tree is definitely on our property, so we know we can clear up to that. And that'll give us a nice driveway space over here. So for those of you who missed it, in a previous episode, Xana had uncovered gravel all the way underneath here. So this was all overgrown, and much of this actually had overgrowth until she had come through. So finding all that gravel tells us that's where the driveway used to be before it got all grown in. And it's kind of funny because it had grown over that. When she was pulling the weeds out, they came out real easy. They could only really root to about 2 inches down, 3 inches down, so there wasn't really much holding it. So over here, kid's bike obviously left out. I have to talk to him about that. So I want to make sure everything's clear away from the structure, all this stuff. And then coming around here. So I cleared all this out yesterday, and that's great. That's a huge step. This pad will eventually be leaving, but I'm not worried about that till I get a concrete bin here. But I really want stuff like this stump here, and we got more brush and more over here. This all has to go. And then we're gonna get this pile taken care of. So this is a lot of the brush that I've taken out already. I think what I'm gonna do with that, if I have time, I'm gonna drag it out to where he's already mulched over everything and let him mulch it up over there. That way it's just done, taken care of, and it'll be a benefit to us at that point, rather than trying to burn it all down. It's very time consuming. I don't really have room for a big fire pit, so it takes a bit of time to go through all that, and it's not a huge benefit to me burnt. Past that, we'd like to finish clearing the brush this way. Now I'm not sure how much time Erik's going to have while he's here, but we're going to make sure everything's ready to go so he can use his time as wisely as possible. So I want to make sure all the garbage is pulled out. There's debris. We got pots, pans, just plastic bits, all of that stuff all over the place. So that's pretty much the day. So we'll see how far we get with it. I'm just going to go till I'm tired like I usually do. So let's get to it. So it's a little hard to see, but there is glass all over the place over here. Glass has to be one of the worst things to try and pick out of the ground like that. I don't think there's that many ways around it. I'm going to grab a couple buckets. For right now, I'm going to skim the top with a flat shovel, and then I'll find a way of getting it out of the contaminated dirt or finding somewhere to put it, but I definitely want it off the ground right there for right now, because that's incredibly dangerous. All right, so that was a lot of glass in the dirt. Now, it's a real shame when dirt gets contaminated like that. When glass breaks, it's always best to pick it up immediately. Especially over here, there was definitely water hitting the ground. These troughs are completely full of debris, so it just spews over. So a lot of the glass, especially closer to the house, was actually getting into the soil. Now the big problem with glass is not only is it extremely difficult to get rid of, but even if I were to bury it, I throw a few inches of dirt over top, that glass will eventually reach the surface. It's just like rocks and most things, they do eventually come up through the ground. That's why farmers are constantly picking stones out of their field. So I did manage to get the bulk of it out. As I walk around, I don't really see a whole lot. And I am going to put some dirt all over it. I'm probably going to skim off a bit more of the top, but I got to come up with a better plan. This just gets it a little safer for right now. But the benefit of burying it is by the time it does reach the surface, at that point it'll also be dull enough that it's not going to cut your hands, at least not easily. So yeah, I think we got 2 other spots in the house that were like that. And if you have any recommendations, throw them in the comments down below. I'm always up for recommendations on things like that because it's a real challenge. Well, I'll tell you what, that is some tedious work, and unfortunately it's the kind of work nobody really wants to do, but it has to be done. Last thing we want is more of that getting into the ground, and I have just a little bit of what happens when you leave it for a very long time just laying around. I turned the camera off, and I really should have kept it rolling for this. So this tarp, there was just a little lip sticking up against the tree, and I started pulling on it and pulling and pulling, and it was a full tarp about 2 inches under the ground all the way through. And yeah, I found one more that was sitting just like that, so I'm going to set up and see how much of that comes up. The other thing I just happened to notice, and I just tripped over this. Over here by the wire tree, I tripped over this hose, and there's more, and once again it's under the ground. I think he just kept buying it because he kept losing it. I mean, I see even more over there, and you could just see little bits of it sticking out, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable and really unfortunate just how much of this garbage is still buried. And even after Erik comes back, I don't know how long it's going to be till we've seen the end of it, but at least we're getting rid of the bulk of it right now, and we are getting everything under control. So the mosquitoes are really coming out. I'm going to throw on a little bit of bug spray and see how much longer I can take them. Tell you what, I've picked up a lot of hose so far in this yard, and that's not including all the hose I picked up in the front yard and the side yard. So with that said, that's done. Let's have a look at what we're going to tackle next. So I think the mosquitoes are getting pretty bad, and the bug spray doesn't seem to be holding them off at this point. I think I'm going to take care of just this last thing and call it a day. So this car, I'm going to try and send it to a salvage yard, and they're not paying by the weight. It's usually by the vehicle per pickup, if they pay anything for this. And they really don't want all the debris and all that. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to unload all the scrap metal he's throwing into it, at least anything that's easily reachable, and all the garbage that's beside this vehicle. So let's get that taken care of, and then I'm going to head inside. Look at that bugger hanging out right in front of the camera lens, eh? Tenacious little things. Well, you'll have to put up with him until he gets bored. Terrified of spiders, and there's some big ones in here. I'll tell you what, some tedious work. I always wish it looked like I did more, but you know, it's a good day and it's ready to go for Erik in the back here. I don't think there's really any more garbage piles left unless we find more buried under the ground. That wouldn't shock me in the least. But we definitely managed to clear out some space. There were stones, concrete blocks, concrete steps, glass in the ground. My goodness, I mean, just litter strewn all over the place. It was unbelievable, the mess. And some of the mess, I mean, there were a lot of like plastic bags and stuff. And you know, we just accidentally hit it with the lawnmower or something because you can't see it, and just, you know, all kinds of stuff, just debris everywhere. And this little staging area for all my brick products and rocks is really building up to something, that's for sure. And I started collecting all these boulders, you know, and there's still more around the property. Some of them are still buried. They're gonna look good in a nice little garden or something. Nice Michigan stones. Then back here, that's all cleaned up. So I think that's the last of it. So all that's left outside to get ready for Erik is prepping up the front yard, because, you know, he's here for a short time. He's got a 2-hour drive to get here and then a 2-hour drive back, so that limits how long he can spend working through the day. So we got to make sure we're making the best use possible while he is here. So if he doesn't have to stop and do the tedious work like picking up debris, I'd much rather see his machine stay busy than see him picking up garbage. That's not a good use of his time. So the mosquitoes are getting real bad. I think I'm gonna finish my day doing some minor stuff inside here. There's well, I got the bagster there. I don't want the bagster hanging out forever. I'd like it gone, but the thing I really wanted in there was the rest of the drywall. If the drywall makes it in there, I can handle pretty much the rest of the garbage, no problem. There's lots of ways of getting rid of it, and you know, using proper methods, of course. I'm not saying I'm burying it, but yeah, I want to get this under control. I think this is the last bulk item that has to be tore out of the house, so I'm gonna get that going right now, and we'll see how far we get. I basically got until I get tired, and then I'm done. So let's get to it. Dang, that made a mess. Let's get it cleaned up. We'll call it a day. Well, I'll tell you, that's a way to finish the day, and the day is done. That was a bit of work, and I feel like I saved most of the work for last, but I have light in here. I don't have light out there, and the mosquitoes, well, they're getting pretty bad, so until tomorrow, I'll see you then, and as always, like, share, subscribe. Helps to grow the channel. And as always, I want to hear from you. You know, down in the comments below, let me know what you think. You know, I want to hear from you about, you know, what you saw outside. That's really poorly worded. And as always, I want to hear from you in the comment section. And let me know if you're looking forward to Erik coming back, because I certainly am. So till tomorrow, we'll see ya. Bye.